Hi everyone, it is Atia here, Booking In with Atia, and we're here with a book review. I'm finally reviewing To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Moniquill Blackgoose. This is the first book in the Nampesh. As I was reading it, I was able to say the name of the series. Hold on. First book in the Nampeshawaysit series. The second book comes out actually in January. I absolutely loved this book. This was such a surprise for me, and I'm upset that it took me this long to read it, but I did read it, and that's what counts. I would just, let's read the synopsis. A young indigenous woman enters a colonizer-run dragon academy and quickly finds herself at odds with the approved way of doing things in the first book of a brilliant new fantasy series. And honestly, I feel like that's such a nice, that really tells you what it's about. The remote island of Masquapag has not seen a dragon in many generations until 15-year-old Anekus finds a dragon's egg and bonds with its hatchling. Her people are delighted, for all remember the tales of the days when dragons lived among them and danced away the storms of autumn, enabling the people to thrive. To them, Anakus is revered as Nampeshewesit, a person in a unique relationship with a dragon. Unfortunately for Anakus, the English conquerors of her land have different opinions. They have a very specific idea of how a dragon should be raised and who should be doing the raising, and Anakus does not meet any of their requirements. Only with great reluctance do they allow Anakus to enroll in a proper English dragon school on the mainland. If she cannot succeed there, her dragon will be killed. For a girl with no formal schooling, a non-English upbringing, and a very different understanding of the history of her land, challenges abound, both socially and academically. But Anakus is smart, determined, and resolved to learn what she needs to help her dragon, even if it means teaching herself. The one thing she refuses to do, however, is become the meek English miss that everyone expects. Anakus and her dragon may be coming of age, but they're also coming to power, and that brings an important realization. The world needs changing, and they might just be the ones to do it. So good. I have notes here because of course I do. I thoroughly enjoyed the writing style. I thought that the chapter structure helped move the story along, and I appreciated how the art of storytelling and oral history was woven into the narrative. You have moments where, or you have chapters where Anakus is being told a story, and it's it'll say the chapter had a ruby, and this is the story Achia told, for example, and it's how she's receiving the story. There's a reverence to stories and storytelling and the wisdom that is in storytelling. There were so many moments of humor and love, especially between Anakus and her family. It's easy to fall into this world. The descriptions of technology and dragons and the attire were clear and distinct, and this steampunk, historical steampunk, alternate fantasy world where there's dragons just worked so well. Moniquill Blackgoose did an excellent job with this. Anakus is a well-rounded protagonist with a strong head on her shoulders, deep sense of duty that doesn't burden her, which I think is so refreshing. A lot of times when we see characters who have some type of responsibility or some sense of duty, especially in racialized communities, so non-white protagonists, there's usually a burden aspect. But it was nice that Anakus took this sense of duty in stride, and she thought of it as an honor and as just like her purpose in the world, or one of her purposes in the world, and it didn't bog her down, or it did not feel like a ball and chain. Like, she was like, okay, this is what I'm here to do, let's do this and let's get to it. And she also has a really sharp ability to truly see to people's hearts that was just so very much like a child before we throw everything at them from the world. I think her ability to see people's hearts may be misconstrued as her being wiser, but usually we think of wise with older, but she's not. I didn't look at her as being older than 15. She just has a very clear way of seeing the world, and it is definitely due to her upbringing and how she was raised in this culture, and she's just able to see things like the saying says, from the mouth of babes, you know? And I just really loved how that was dealt with and how that was done. There's themes of colonization, particularly from a Native American perspective, the absurdity of social norms, particularly gender roles and heteronormativity. Like, that is tackled head on, and I loved seeing that from a different perspective. This book also showed a different way to think of ourselves in relation to the planet and non-human beings, because in a Western world and a Western viewpoint, we're taught to look at human beings as being above other living beings that aren't human, and we're taught to think of the earth as like a separate entity, which it is, but the way in which we regard the earth and the way in which we regard non-human beings is very detrimental, and it is self-serving. So it was nice to see Anarchus kind of push back against that narrative and show how being in community with other beings that aren't humans and being in community with the planet is this reciprocal and symbiotic relationship that benefits everyone. And, you know, we're in this global crisis that we are now because of this very singular, self-serving, individualistic, human being focused way of looking at things. And for non-white cultures, honestly, for non-white cultures, for so long, that has not been the way in which we were taught to be in community with the world around us. But because of colonization and imperialism and capitalism, you know, and eco-terrorism and things like that, some of us have lost it. I think probably most of us have lost it, and we need to kind of get back to it. And I love what this book was saying about that and how it tackled that. I also love that Anarchus never felt the need to change, or she never felt the desire to assimilate, but rather learned the English social game, if you will, in order to better secure her community and her dragon. And she was like, this is nonsense. Like, she regularly says, this is nonsense, but I'm going to do it just so I can get the papers that I need, and my dragon is safe, and my community, I can go back and help my community. Like, I don't want to be around y'all. I don't want to be in your society, nothing like that. But I know that you'll come knocking if I don't do this. I'm going to do this only for my people. And she never lost the plot with that. She never did. Anarchus and her community's perspective on family, particularly being an eldest daughter, was refreshing. And it was cool to see how the role of eldest daughter can be empowering outside of an imperialistic, capitalistic, and patriarchal society. Like, when you take those three things away from it, it can become this very revered role in the society and in the family, which is what it was for Anarchus and her community. And it's kind of wild how it has become so warped, when in so many cultures it is a role of reverence and respect. And I really, as an eldest daughter, I really had to sit with that, because like, I was like, wow, like this is an honor. It can be an honor. There's so much power and responsibility and duty there, but because of all the other nonsense, it often feels like, you know, you're attempting to put your brain through a blender. So I love just seeing that new perspective. It was very refreshing for me. Definitely looking forward to the sequel coming out in January. I do have an e-arc. I want to get to it soon. I want to get my hands on a physical copy. And if you couldn't tell, I gave this book 5 stars. I would highly recommend this. I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you have not read To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Moniquill Blackgoose yet, do it. Go get yourself a copy, either from your local bookstore or the library, or Libby, which is a library, but you know, if you need an e-version or whatever, get a friend to gift it to you. Do what you gotta do. If a friend has it, go to their house with permission and get it from their bookshelf and just read it. It's so, so good. One of the best books I read in 2025, and probably one of my biggest surprises in a while. But yeah, that is my review of To Shape a Dragon's Breath. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in further supporting the channel, make sure to check out the links below to become a channel member or a Patreon member. All of my socials are linked down below. You can also further support the channel by purchasing from my Bonfire shop or my Etsy shop. The link to the Bibliophiles Unite Discord is also down below. We will be starting a buddy read of the Indian Lake trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones, starting with My Heart is a Chainsaw in January. So if you're interested in reading that with us, make sure to join the Discord. And I will see you in another video. Bye! I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it.
Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm